Right, welcome back. And before we start with our discussion, let me again welcome our dear guest, Dr. Wahaab Ghoneim, information technology expert. Thank you again for being with us.
Thank you.
And we've seen the launch of this economic conference yesterday. We've seen the president's keen to address the inauguration session. We have seen him speaking about Egypt during the past period. Let me here take your reading first to the most important messages that he gave yesterday.
Yeah, I think within this big economic conference, last conference in 7 years, 2015, we didn't achieve to attracting a big foreign investment. Nowadays, we, as the global crisis, now we would like to have big investment for the mega projects, especially for the new and renewable energy and exploring gas and oil, and the green economy, especially for the green nitrogen and the green ammonia and all these new products. It needs a big investment. It must be foreign investment. We have a lot of routine systems in the government sector controlling the investments. This is why His Excellency Mr. President Fattah al-Sisi called for this conference, especially it's time before COP27, because most of the people overall the world now focusing on Egypt, because we will hosting the biggest climate change conference in Sharm el-Sheikh within 2 or 3 weeks. This is why we would like to send a message, strong message. We are changing. We are changing to attract foreign investment, foreign direct investment, because within last 2 or 3 months, the Federal Central Bank of America raising the ratio or the benefits. He attracting all the investors to America. Egypt lost in few days around $20 billion as hot money going outside. This is why we would like to do substitution for this money. We would like to attract new investors to invest in these new fields as microeconomic sectors, especially the energy, because you know a big problem in the energy now, especially in Europe. We would like to import some new manufacturing coming from Europe to be hosted in Suez Canal Industrial Zone area. We would like to increase our export from the gas, especially, and the energy to Europe through marine cables. This is why we would like to going in new sectors of technology to added value. Since few days, His Excellency Mr. President opened a complex of factors for manufacturing the black sand. This black sand, it is very high-tech technology, because we're extracting from this black sand more than...
But before I go to the black sand, because the black sand in itself is a treasure that exists in Egypt. We'll speak about that, but let me here take it from this perspective. Yes, indeed, this economic conference is truly made in order to put a path for Egypt's economic future.
Yeah, we need a clear roadmap.
Indeed.
To going from this current situation to future situation.
Indeed. When the president spoke yesterday, he gave or he clarified many issues. The most important of which he spoke about how Egypt has been transformed in few years, that needed much more years, into a country that can be attractive for investors.
Yeah, sure.
And that during that period, it was a must to restructure
And reforming a lot of things.
the infrastructure of the country, as well as restructure policies that are put in order to be able to put a conducive atmosphere for investment.
Yeah.
This is what I was I was speaking about. How far has Egypt gone throughout the past period in order to be able today to hold this conference, to put a roadmap for the future?
Yeah, I think, as you said, last few years, we did developed a huge amount from national projects for the infrastructure. We did around something like 10,000 kilometers of roads and thousands of bridges, new ports. We're connecting the industrial areas with the cities, with the ports, to facilitate and easing the transportation of goods and peoples between all these things. And this is, and again, we modernizing the rules and regulations for the investment. All these things.
The transformation in
the
Egypt
transformation,
into digital,
yeah, the high-speed trains and monorail and electric trains, all these infrastructure. And again, we developed the digital infrastructure.
Yes.
Yeah, we're speeding the internet speed, and we have the digital transformation projects. All these things, the first to easing the daily life for the people. And again, we're preparing the environment for the foreign investment.
Yes. Yeah, here we have to speak about the main axis of the conference. And the main axis, as we have seen during the sessions of yesterday and today, were inflation,
yeah,
monetary policies, creating atmosphere, or creating the environment attracting foreign investments, of course, foreign at large and local as well, as well as improving the economy from different angles that are or putting policies to improve the economy in order to achieve what we really need. My question would be here, how those three axes are very much needed at this very particular time, how to support the Egyptian economy through, for an instance, monetary policy.
I think the main issue from these tracks is the state ownership policy documents.
Which was today, yes.
Yeah, this is the biggest issue, because most of the people saying that the government owns more than 70% of the Egyptian economy. Now, this document saying that the private sector must have 65 and more % from the Egyptian economy.
Indeed.
And the government decreasing some or outside from some sectors from the micro economy. Still, the government must have role for the national big mega projects, like the infrastructure, like the education, like the health care. But anyway, there is a new vision now. We must partnership with the public and private sector partnership, triple P. This is why we must give the private sector a big portion of the cake of the economy, going in different sectors. Especially these sectors, we cannot managing these sectors like the healthcare, like the education. We must increasing the opening new universities, new schools, new technical schools, especially the investment in renewable energy and exploring the oil and the gas. This is, and the high-tech technology products like nanotechnology and biotechnology. All these sectors, we cannot compete as a government sector, as a private sector. We must be attractive to foreign investment because all these sectors needs a lot of money, billions of money. We must encourage them to come. We must give them incentives. We must changing our investment laws and the other laws to be attractive. We must create a lot of industrial and technological zones in Suez Canal and in the other governorate. I think we must have a clear roadmap, significant roadmap, and must have projects as initiatives to be developed, not only a roadmap, declaring roadmap without clear projects, clear mandates, clear budgets.
Yesterday, the central bank governor, Hassan Abdullah, spoke about new, very new monetary policies that will be that Egypt or the central bank will deal with, and in that his mission is to control inflation. How important is that? Because I guess that's not just a requirement by the government, but also the requirement of the whole nation.
Yeah, anyway, I think the inflation rate all over the world going up.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
all over, even in US
the whole
and
world are really
Europe.
for crisis,
yeah.
indeed.
This is the main mission for central bank, any country in the world, to controlling the inflation rate. Last year, the inflation rate, the Central Bank of Egypt, putting the inflation rate 7 plus or minus 2. This is before the Russian-Ukrainian war. But during this war, all the economics all over the world, especially Europe, going down. And there is some new wars like energy war, like food war, because do you know now, a big shortage in energy in Europe. And even even in Central Asia. This is why the inflation rate going high. And again, the supply chain now decreasing and slow down. This is why you cannot easily get any spare parts, any goods, especially the microchip and all this high-tech technology, because you know they are affected again between the conflict between China and Taiwan. This is why the inflation rate going up, and now there is uncertainty case. We cannot say now this war stop after 2 months, after 1 year, and whatever.
We have no idea.
This case going, all the money now, or the investors, they cannot easily go to invest anywhere.
Definitely, it is. This war is truly draining all the economies of the whole world. And yes, it is putting all the economies in jeopardy. Before we move on with our discussion, let me take here this interview by our colleague Ahmed Nader, who is there for his coverage for the economic summit, and this interview he made with Dr. Fakhri El-Fiqi, former Minister of Tourism, Dr. Munir Fakhri Abdenour, former former Minister of Tourism, Industry and Trade. Let's watch.